I'm Gwennaide Wassège. I'm professor at UC Louvain in Belgium, but today I am in Italy, in Sicily. I am Rosa Coniglione, and together with Gwen, we are member of the KM3NeT collaboration. KM3NeT collaboration is mainly European collaboration. At the moment, has about 250 collaborators. I am also a member of the reinforced collaboration, and maybe you have heard a bit about it, especially if you are taking part in the Deep Sea Explorer project, in which we propose you to help us analyzing the very first data of KM3. Yes, at the moment we are here at Laboratorio Nazionale di Sud, one of the 4 national laboratories of the IN. The laboratory was born in the 70s. It started as a physics research. Now, the important part of the laboratory is involved in the extraction of the cake. Then, this visit, we will show first what is KM3NeT, how we construct this detector. Here is one of the European site extraction detector, and so we will visit dumb optical sensor integration sites, the string integration for sites, and after the visit, we will have a session to answer to your questions. So please don't be shy and ask questions. So let's now move to the visitor center of Laboratorio Nazionale.
So welcome to the visitor center. What you're seeing behind me is probably the image that we all have about our universe. If you go out at night and look up, this is almost what you're going to see. Of course, to learn everything, every single detail about our universe, astrophysicists don't only use this kind of light. They use different wavelengths, from radio waves to infrared or to microwaves, for example, as the one we are seeing now, to the most energetic photons we are seeing, which are gamma rays. Rosa and myself are different kind of astrophysicists. We don't use light. We use elementary particles called neutrinos. And neutrinos are very special. They really provide us a new way to study the universe. It's a bit like putting another pair of glasses and look up. To give you an example, if our eyes would be sensitive to neutrinos, we could see what's behind walls. So it's kind of a superpower to study the universe.
Rosa, you are muted. Rosa, you are muted.
So this is one of the main elements of our detector. This is the optical sense. As it's been explained by Gwen, neutrino are very nice particles. They can traverse very large distances. They can traverse all the Earth because they interact with. But also for this reason, they are very difficult to detect this part. So we have to instrument very large detector. We are instrumenting 1 kilometer detector with thousands of these small optical optics. These optical sensors are made of photomultiplier, because the neutrino, when interact via our detector, it will emit light. The light is detected by these photomultipliers. A photomultiplier is a device that converts light in in electrical signal. And many of these photomultipliers here, they are 31, are inside this sphere of glass sphere. We put this everything inside glass sphere because this will go very deep in the sea.
We have lost you for a moment.
Maybe while they get the link back, I could just show a couple of things about KM3NeT. So I'm Pascal Coyle. I'm the spokesman of the KM3NeT experiment. And I have just a couple of images I'd like to show you that will give you an idea of the size of the telescopes that we're trying to build. So let me share a screen. And let's go to full screen. So this is a kind of artistic image of the KM3NeT telescope. In fact, it's located in two places. We have one part of the detector offshore from Toulon in the south of France, and another detector offshore from Sicily, where you're getting the live feed from the LNS lab. The detector concept is lots. Give me a couple of minutes, Rosa, and then I'll pass it back to you. Okay. So the detector consists of is very big, and the detector will cover a kilometer cube. So that's the line. So we have lots of vertical lines anchored to the bottom of the sea. And the lines can be up to 800 meters high. So that's almost 3 times the size of the Eiffel Tower. They're very deep. The Italian site near LNS is more than 3.5 kilometers.
Italian site near LNS is more than 3.5 kilometers. Italian site near LNS is more than.
And this little animation here shows you the relative size of the detector compared to your favorite tower, so the Eiffel Tower or the Pisa Tower. You see that the two sites are different.
We cannot see the animation right now.
No, you don't see it, unfortunately. Okay. Did you see the previous image?
Yes, the screen is still in the previous image, yes.
Okay.
And the scale is tremendous, actually.
Do you see the animation now? No.
No.
Okay. So we have two detectors. One is a dense detector for low energy neutrinos, and one is the giant detector near LNS for the very highest energy neutrinos. So I think
yes,
is Rosa ready now? We can pass back to Rosa.
We see the animation now, I think, but we can do it later, perhaps.
Okay. It seems to be very much delayed. I'm not showing it anymore, but there seems to be a big lag. I don't understand.
Rosa
Okay.
is now live.
Okay, let's go back to Rosa.
Okay, so this is the one optical
But
sensor.
I should stop sharing, sorry. Okay.
Is a particle, then when interact, generated a secondary particle, another particle that traversing our detector will release light. The light is detected by this optical sensor, in particular by this photomultiplier, photomultiplier is the device that converts light to electric signal, and 31 of these photomultipliers are mounted inside this glass sphere. We need this glass sphere because this sensor should go deep in the sea, up 3.5 kilometers, with the pressure of 350 atmospheres. Very hard, very resistant sphere. So
there might be a connection delay here. Let us wait a moment for Rosa, and then maybe, Gwen, we could proceed to the next room.
Yes, sorry, the Wi-Fi is not very cooperative with us today. Of course, we could not bring you to the bottom of the sea to really see our detectors. But if we could, that is actually what you would see. Water with some lines holding the sensors that Rosa was showing you, ready to detect neutrinos. So you might say, well, there are not that many neutrinos, but this is the reality. This is why we need very large neutrino telescopes, because it's hard to detect a neutrino. It barely interacts. I give you one more moment. Did you catch it? We really have to catch it when it is there, and get ready for that. Now that we've seen one, we go to the harbor of Catania, where Paolo and Piera will tell us how we actually build these detection lines.
Can you hear us?
Hi, I'm Piera.
Hello?
Yes,
We did
yes.
the video. Okay, now set to switch on the video.
Okay, one moment.
Hi, I'm Piera.
Do we see our video?
Let us, one moment, please.
Okay, now you should see us.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Piera. I am a KM3NeT collaborator, and I will introduce you Paolo.
Yes, I'm Paolo, another one of the KM3NeT collaboration, and welcome to the integration laboratory at the Port of Catania. We're going to show here how do we put together the optical modules, the eyes of KM3NeT that Rosa has just shown you and explained you, and we prepare it to the deployment and installation in the deep sea. So let's go in the laboratory and have a look at this. You understand that from Pascal that these are pretty big structures, about 750 meter high. So it's quite a difficult task to. So Piera, can you tell us what are the main steps of this integration process?
Yes, we have seen that the optical modules are the active part of the detectors, but we need to power them and to transmit the signal from the deep sea, 3,500 meters in the seabed, to the shore. So we have to attach the optical module to an electrical optical cable. And this is the first step of the integration, of the assembly of a line. So then there is another important part of the line of the detector, which is the base module. We call it the base, which is the brain of the detection of the line, power line. And here I would like to introduce Piero, who is our expert in electronics in the team, and David, who is one of our younger technicians. And Piero, please explain us which is base module.
So this is, of course, the base module. A base module is a mix of mechanical, electronics, and optics devices that take care of the communication between the optical module and the shore station. The design has been optimized for put it on a titanic container that can be used for protect all the device of the corrosion and also protect it from the pressure. Integration of the system is difficult because there are a lot of fiber optics that must be spliced and arranged in a very reduced space. At the end of the assembling in the integration, we need to do a lot of tests to check the quality of the all device and reliability of this.
So let's go to the next steps of the integration of our units. Please, Paolo.
So at this stage, we have the 18 optical modules connected together to a single very long 750 meters electro-optical cable and to the base module that you had just seen. And in KM3NeT, to detect neutrinos, we need to synchronize all the DOMs in KM3NeT, all the optical modules in KM3NeT with a precision of 1/1000th of a second, what we call a nanosecond. This is a pretty hard task. And to do this, we have to carefully calibrate the detection units before they go at sea. To do this, we put the full detection unit inside a pretty big light type box, where we illuminate each optical module with a precision laser, so that we can precisely, as requested, calibrate the detection unit. And once it is done, we go to the next step. So, Piera, can you tell us what happens after?
Yes. Then we have to prepare the detection unit in order to be deployed in the deep sea. And we found a very smart way of doing it. We don't deploy it as a line, but we pack it. We wind it in a large structure, 2 meters diameter. And then we deploy it back like this. And then when it is in the sea bottom, we unfurl it with the use of rope, with a submarine rope.
Okay, I see down there some of our collaborators, which are actually taking care of winding this one of these views onto what we call the launcher. Maybe can you introduce them and explain what they're doing?
Yes, please let me introduce Salvo, Massimo, and Tony. They are part of our team of mechanics. This task is very complex. They have to wind the detection unit for about 800 meters with a precision of the order of 1 centimeter, in order not to have it twisted and break after the unfurling. At the moment, they are working by attaching the optical module to the rope, and then they will insert it in the launcher.
Perfect. Okay, and then what happens next?
Then we will put the launcher on an anchor, and then we will deploy it into the.
So that's all for us. Then we can go to the next group, which is, I think, when Ross again for the DOM integration side. So bye from the harbor integration side of Catania. Bye.
So we are now here at the integration, DOM integration. DOM stands for DOM stands for digital optical module.
Rosa, I don't think we see the video yet.
I think we are doing now. I pinned the video. Please confirm. I can see it.
Okay.
Can you see us?
Yes, yes.
Okay, very good. Sorry for that.
Okay, perfect. So we are here in the laboratory where the DOM, the digital optical model, are integrated. So this is you are?
I am Fabio Lombitano. I am a technologist of the INFN, and I work here in Catania.
So you can explain us how many steps you have to do to complete to have a working DOM?
We begin from the empty glass sphere, and step by step we produce the complete DOM. There are several steps to do. The most important step for me are assembling the electronics board, the optical fiber splice that connect the internal device of the DOM to the external, and is very important assembling the PMC, that is a sensor of light that convert the luminous signal in electric signal. We introduce this in the structure, and we insert this in this way. The signal is digitized by the electronics board and sent through the optical fiber to the external of the DOM. There are very many tests that confirm steps by steps the good operation we have done.
So, nice structure, many pieces I see.
Yes, there are, I don't know what is the exact number of all pieces, but I can say that there are 82 different elements in the DOM, and are very important.
Yeah. So, how many DOM have you integrated here in Catania?
I think about 100, more or less.
Yes. Yeah. Of course, in our detector, at the end of the construction, will be about 6,000 optical sensors. Of course, not all will be integrated here. We have many integration sites on Europe. We have integration sites in Nikef, Amsterdam, in CPPM, Strasbourg. We have also in Naples. We have in Morocco also. So we have many integration sites of optical models. So this is we have already in water about 550 DOMs working, and we are going to construct many others optical models. So
about 600.
Yes. Okay, so I think that if you have questions,
it is exactly the moment. So thanks a lot, Fabio. Thanks a lot also to all the technicians we've seen at the harbor. Now, Pascal, as he said, is the spokesperson of the collaboration, and Rosa, but also Piera and Paolo, we are here to answer any question you may have for us. While everyone is getting ready or thinking about questions, let me share our project that is one of the reasons why we are here today, which is the Deep Sea Explorers project on the Zooniverse platform. So Zooniverse is a platform for citizen science. And as member of the reinforced collaboration, we have developed this activity that in which we are asking you to help us to study the bioactivity in the deep sea. So everything that is basically not a neutrino. And you see, we have many participants, and maybe some of you are among this very large number of participants, and we thank you very much. One of these activities to study what the sensor you've seen, so that are integrated on these detection units, but also the one that Fabio showed you, are recording now. So these are real data taken 3,000 meters below the sea level and recording what is coming probably from some fish, for example, bumping into one of the sensors and producing light. So in this activity, what we ask you is to count the number of peaks. And this is it seems like it's an easy task, but this is really important for us because with the classification you will do here, so I would say, for example, that this is a multiple peak event and that I can now draw the various peak that I'm seeing. With this, we can then train what we call machine learning algorithm and apply them to all the events that KM3NeT will be recording over the more than 10 years of operation. Now that you've seen a bit of this Deep Sea Explorer project, I hope that many of you will join if you're interested. There is also another part in which you're not looking for light, but you're actually listening to sound and trying to see if we have seen dolphins or whales. But I'm opening the floor to questions, and I'm leaving Pascal and Manolis to chair this part of the discussion.
Yeah, so if you'd like to ask a question, please use the reactions button at the bottom of the screen. And then click on the raise hand, and then we can activate your microphone. You could also type questions into the chat.
I believe we also have some people watching us from Facebook or from YouTube. You can also post questions there, and we will make our best to answer them.
We have a question coming from our social media. So the question is, what is the status of research in neutrino astronomy right now?
Sorry, the status of
research in neutrino astronomy right now.
Okay. So maybe I can go ahead and answer the question. So neutrino astronomy is just at its very beginning. You know, we've seen in the visitor center, we've seen this galactic plane, we've seen the universe, and we know we have collected a lot of light. Most of what we know about our universe comes from light. The first high energy neutrinos from the cosmos have been detected now in 2013, so almost 10 years ago. And so we know they are high energy neutrinos, and we are trying to make a map of the sources of these high energy neutrinos. So far, only a handful of sources have been identified by the IceCube Neutrino Observatory, which is located at the South Pole. And because it's hard to detect neutrinos, this is why we need also KM3NeT to come into the game to complement IceCube, because IceCube will be looking in one direction, KM3NeT in another one. And with these two instruments, we can really look at the entire universe and try to catch as many neutrinos as we can.
Thank you very much. We have one more question from Hassan. So let me please unmute here. Okay.
Hello, sorry, this is Hasna, PhD student from Morocco, and they work on the Atlas experiment. And thank you very much for organizing this virtual visit. I was very curious to learn more about the KM3NeT and how it's operated. I had a couple of questions. So the first one was about the design of the domes. How was the dome design optimized? As I can see from I can see behind Rosa that they have some small, I would say some dead matter in the domes. I was wondering if that couldn't be enhanced by using smaller PMTs, I mean, more smaller PMTs to cover all this dead space. I don't know. This was my first question. And then second one was actually, I didn't get it maybe, how are the detector units fixed in the sea? And as I suppose they can move with the waves, or I mean, they can move. So how do you correct the motion of the detector units? And my last question, which is a basic question, what are your main background sources?
Okay. So maybe Pascal, you want to
start answering, or should Rosa do it? You want to start answering, or should Rosa do it? You want to start answering, or should Rosa do it?
I think my link is very bad, so maybe it's better if Rosa.
Okay,
would do it.
so let's answer to
You see, we have the thing you see here, this yellow structure, which is just an anchor, which once it's deployed and positioned on deep sea, on the seafloor, stay there and cannot move. And the string is the 700-meter structure is kept up by a buoy on top. Then, of course, what happens is that the anchor, of course, doesn't move, while the string, which is a flexible structure, can move under the influence of the sea currents. So the top of the string can move a few tens of meters, which is not a problem mechanically, of course, but it's an interesting problem from the point of view of positioning, because we didn't mention this, but we need to know at each time, at each moment, the position of each optical module. And we do this with a very sophisticated array of acoustic beacons and hydrophones, which are able to measure the distance between the optical modules, each optical module, and and these beacons, so that we can determine the position of each module with a precision of more or less 10 centimeters. Did it answer the question?
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, Pascal and Paolo. That answers my question. My last one was about your main background noise. And then, if I might just one, what's the lifetime of your PMT, of your optical modules? I mean, how often do you have to change them?
So maybe I can answer the question about the background. So as any neutrino telescopes looking for high energy neutrinos, the main background we have comes from the atmosphere. So cosmic rays hitting atmosphere, producing a lot of particles, and among them neutrinos. So these neutrinos are actually very interesting to do neutrino oscillation studies and understand the neutrino itself much better than what was done before. But when you search for astrophysical neutrinos, this is the main background you might have. Now, it all depends on the energy you're talking about, because we are really deep in the sea. And even at 2,000, 3,000 meters deep, there are a lot of different species living there. And most of them are actually emitting light. That's what we call bioluminescence. And this is one of the goals of this reinforced project, Deep Sea Explorers, to explain this bioluminescence and to try to understand it with a very new approach that KM3NeT is bringing. And so this bioluminescence, also with the radioactive decay from the potassium that is naturally present in seawater. Remember, we are in seawater, so they are salt in the sea, right? Will produce some light that our sensor will see. But this is exactly the reason why we went from a design with only one PMT to 31 PMTs around the sphere, because we have much more power to recognize what is a neutrino and what is the background. And about the lifetime, so clearly, I think Pascal or Rosa may be better placed to answer, but we are now at the very beginning of KM3NeT. We have 21 lines that are deployed on the Arca side, so near Sicily, and we have 11 lines that are deployed on the Arca side in France. And so we are going to keep adding more lines. In total, there will be 115 in France and 2 times 115 in Italy. And we hope to operate these lines, we will operate this line for many, many years, at least a decade.
May I add that this kind of detector are very nice because we can take data and do some physics even with few lines.
are not so few at the moment. We have 31 in total, but we can do physics also during the construction phase. And this is important for us. Not to wait so many years
Exactly.
to see something.
And in fact, the very first results of KM3NeT already have been presented to the scientific community and already help to better understand both the universe and the neutrino itself.
Okay, thank you very much. I let the floor to other curious minds. Thank you very much for your answers.
We have two more questions. We have a question from Donna Muscarella. Would you like to ask live, Donna? Or I can share the question. Can you talk about the hydrophones and at what distance do they detect whale sounds? Yes, hello.
Hello. Yes, I'm interested in the hydrophone array and how far a distance can they detect. I think this is a wonderful project incorporating so much biology and particle physics. It's exciting to me.
Pascal, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so the sound in the sea really travels very far. So with the hydrophones, in fact, each of the strings that we deploy has a very sensitive hydrophone on the bottom of the string on the anchor. So with this large, so every time we add a string, we add a new hydrophone. So we will have hundreds of very sensitive hydrophones listening to everything that happens in the sea. So the distances we can hear the whales and the dolphins will be many kilometers around the detector. And in fact, by triangulating the sounds that we hear from the clicks in the whales and the whistles from dolphins, we can actually do 3D tracking of the whales. So we can follow their movements, perhaps in a radius of 5 to 10 kilometers around the telescope.
Wow.
Okay, thank you, Pascal. So we
So
have.
if I may add, if you're interested in the sound part of our detector, I also enjoy. I'm going to repeat that a lot, but we need as many volunteers as possible. But I also enjoy. I also invite you to join the Deep Sea Explorer project, where you can actually analyze the first spectrograms that we've been recording. And this is a very interesting project because if we manage to classify this data, we can correlate the hydrophones of KM3NeT, which are like 3,000 meters deep, with the one on surface and actually track the big sea mammals and try to protect them from both. So this is actually a wonderful collaboration in between physicists and biologists.
Because I love working on it in Zooniverse.
So, thank you very much. We have one more question from Eva Pankova. Eva, would you like to share?
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you very much for this very nice presentation and this project. I think it's very nice and interesting in the way that the many countries in Europe collaborate together in more than one place. So as I read here, we have ORCA detector, ARCA detector, and more. So maybe the question is, what's the difference between your project that connect 3 detectors here in Europe mostly, and the Japan observatory Kamiokande? Was the difference in the design, or maybe more ideas about this? Thank you very much.
So thanks so much for this question. And in fact, we need both. So Kamiokande is a very important detector, but the strategy is very different. So it's more like a vessel filled with water, and everywhere around this vessel they put a similar PMTs a bit bigger than the one we are using. So they kind of build the detector from scratch and fill it with water. And they're sensitive in low energy neutrinos. Like they can see, for example, neutrinos coming from the nuclear reaction happening in the core of the sun. In our case, in KM3NeT, we decided to use nature to install
or PMTs and to detect neutrinos. And so the size of the detectors are really different. KM3NeT is going to be like about 1 cubic kilometers, right? You deployed in the sea, in the Mediterranean Sea. And so the approach to detect neutrinos is very different, but it means that you're also sensitive at different energies. Super KM3NeT would be more sensitive at low energies, and we are more sensitive at high energies to explore the highest, the events in our universe that are the most extreme, like for example, gamma ray bursts, flaring blazars, black hole mergers, etc. I don't know if one of you want to add to this great question.
Can I say something here? It's more like a question from my part. So Super KM3NeT has an instrumented volume and detects only whatever happens within it, while KM3NeT has the volume which is defined, let's say, geometrically, but it can reconstruct neutrinos coming outside from this instrumented volume, right?
Yeah, well, the neutrino could also interact inside of the volume in between lines, for example, and we would detect it. In fact, the volume that is available for detection in KM3NeT is much, much bigger than the one of Super KM3NeT because we decided to use the sea. So both techniques are needed and they're complementary with each other.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So I don't see other questions in the chat right now.
So I don't know if there is something Pascal, Paolo, Piera, Carla wants to add. If we before we close the meeting, you should know that KM3NeT, as you see, is a very, I mean, it's almost a familiar collaboration, right? I mean, we are very friendly, and so if you have any questions about how we detect neutrinos or how we are building our detectors, feel free to send an email. You will find all the information you need on our website and also the Deep Sea Explorer projects. And it will really be great it will be great to answer your questions. So surely don't hesitate to send us anything that you may have thought about this visit. It is our first time, so obviously nothing. I mean, there were some issues as always. There were also network issues as you've seen. We hope that you have enjoyed it. It will be recorded, so feel free also to share it with your friends that want to discover neutrino studies and neutrino astronomy. Thanks a lot. I'm going to leave the word, like the final word, to the spokesperson of the collaboration, Pascal Coyle, who is now in Marseille, one of the other big centers in the KM3NeT collaboration.
Yes,
and as
I
Manoli
just like...
just wrote, sorry, Pascal, as Manoli just wrote, we would be really grateful if you could fill the feedback form. So next visit will be, we hope, even better than this one.
Yeah, just as a final word, I'd just like to emphasize the kind of international aspect of it. It's really a very fruitful collaboration of 56 institutes, 17 countries and 4 continents that are making KM3NeT a reality. We have our first results that we've released during the summer conferences. Everything is working really well, and we're working very hard now to just keep adding more and more detection strings to the apparatus. So I'm sure as the detector grows and as we get catch more neutrinos, there'll be some interesting results that we'll be releasing. And yeah, maybe I can also just add that this is our first try at doing one of these virtual visits, and we do plan to have some more also in other languages. So probably we will have a French virtual visit to the French infrastructures, and and I expect one in Dutch to visit the NICEF facilities.
And we can also do one in Italian and probably also
yes,
one
probably
in
need
Greek.
an Italian
So,
one
yeah,
as well. Yeah.
exactly. So let us know in which language you would like to have a virtual visit, and we will arrange that. Thanks a lot, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you, and nice weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.